Rose was a lonely widow, living in a small house that her late husband had left for her. She had no children, no family to comfort her, and no money to make life easier. The only thing she had was the love she still carried for her husband, even after so many years. She mourned him every day, crying at his grave, talking to the earth as if he could hear her. "My love, why did you leave me? I have no one. I know I didn't give you a child, but your presence alone meant everything to me. Now I am all alone in this world, suffering with no one to talk to." Many nights, she would cry until she fell asleep, right there by his grave, waking only when the morning sun kissed her face. She found peace in that place, as if being close to him in death was the only way she could still feel his presence. One evening as Rose walked back home, an old woman saw her. The woman had been watching Rose for some time and knew her pain. She stopped her on the road and spoke with a voice full of wisdom. "My dear, you have caged yourself for too long. Look at you, you are still wearing your mourning clothes, and that is why your heart refuses to heal. You are holding on too tightly to his memory. Let go, remove these clothes, and you will see how your spirit will be free from this sadness." Rose looked at the woman with tearful eyes. "I can't just let go of my husband's memory like that," she whispered. The old woman gave her a kind smile and nodded. "I understand, my child, but think about what I have said. If you decide to free yourself from this grief, come and meet me here tomorrow. I have something to tell you." Rose thanked her and slowly walked home, her heart heavy with thoughts. Could she really let go? Did she even want to? That night, she lay awake, thinking about the old woman's words. Would removing the mourning clothes really set her free? Could she ever stop grieving the man she loved so much? She had until morning to decide. That night, Rose could not sleep. The old woman's words kept echoing in her mind. How can I let go of my husband's memory just like that? His memories are the only thing that gives me joy. Is it even possible? But then another thought crept in. Maybe she is right. Maybe I have mourned for too long. I think it's time to let go. I think I need to remove this mourning cloth and burn it so that my heart will finally be free. With a deep sigh, Rose got up, took off the black mourning clothes she had worn for years, and changed into a different dress. Then, with shaking hands, she lit a fire and burned the old clothes, watching the flames consume them. It felt as if a part of her past was turning to ashes, but strangely, she felt lighter. The next morning, Rose returned to the spot where she had met the old woman. To her surprise, the woman was already there, waiting for her. "How did you know I was coming?" Rose asked, surprised. The old woman gave her a knowing smile. "You will never understand, my child," she said. Then, she reached into her bag and pulled out a pouch of money. She handed it to Rose. "Well done. You have broken free from your husband's shadow. Now, take this money and use it to open a restaurant where you will sell food." Rose's eyes widened. She had never had this much money before. "A restaurant? But I don't know how to run a business," she hesitated. "Don't worry, you will learn," the old woman assured her. "But there is one condition you must follow, and you must never break it." Rose nodded eagerly. "From today, you must never take a bath again," the old woman said. Rose frowned in confusion. "What? Why?" "Because," the old woman continued, "as your body gathers dirt, mold will start to grow on your skin. When that happens, you must scrape off the dirt, even from your armpits, and mix it into your food. It will make your food taste magical, and you will see customers flooding into your restaurant. Soon, you will become rich and live in a mansion." Rose's stomach turned at the thought. "You want me to put dirt from my body into people's food?" she asked in shock. "Yes," the old woman said firmly. "That is the secret to your success. But there's one more rule. You must never let anyone enter your kitchen. Your kitchen must always remain dirty. If anyone sees it, you are doomed." Rose hesitated. The thought of never bathing, of putting dirt in food, made her uneasy. But then she thought about her life. Years of suffering, loneliness, and hunger. She had no family, no one to help her, and no future. Maybe this is my only chance to escape poverty. Well, she thought. She took the money, bowed in gratitude, and said, "Thank you, wise one. I will do as you say." "Good," the old woman said. "Now, go and begin your new life." With that, Rose turned and walked away, holding the money tightly in her hands. A new life awaited her. But at what cost? With the money she received from the old woman, Rose rented a small shop and turned it into a restaurant. At first, everything seemed normal. She cooked delicious meals and served her customers with a bright smile. But behind the scenes, something terrible was happening. Rose never bathed, just as the old woman had instructed. Days turned into weeks and weeks into months. Her body became covered in layers of dirt, and soon, mold started growing on her skin. Her armpits, neck, and back were filled with thick grime. Cockroaches crawled freely in her kitchen, and flies swarmed over her pots of food. The air was thick with a terrible stench, but no one suspected anything. Every day before cooking, Rose would scrape the dirt from her body, her arms, her back, and especially her armpits. She would carefully mix it into the soups and stews, just as the old woman had told her. And to everyone's surprise, her food was unlike any other. The taste was irresistible, and customers could not get enough. People from all over the town flocked to her restaurant. No one understood why Rose's food was so delicious, but they kept coming back for more. In no time, Rose became incredibly rich. She moved into a grand mansion, wore expensive clothes, and walked with pride. Despite never bathing, she was happy because her business was thriving. But secrets don't stay hidden forever. The truth is revealed. One fateful afternoon, as Rose was in her kitchen preparing another meal, she lifted her arm and scraped a thick chunk of dirt from her armpit. Just as she was about to drop it into the pot, the door suddenly creaked open. A curious customer had entered the kitchen. The woman froze in place, her eyes widening in horror as she took in the sight before her. Rose's clothes were fine and elegant, but her skin underneath was covered in filth. The kitchen was a nightmare. Cockroaches crawling on the floor, flies buzzing around the food, and the stench of unwashed flesh filling the air. But the worst part was what she saw Rose doing. The customer gasped so loudly that Rose turned around in shock. "What are you doing here?" Rose stammered, her heart pounding. But it was too late. The woman screamed, running outside to alert the other customers. "Come and see! Come and see what Rose has been doing to our food," she cried. A crowd rushed into the kitchen. The moment they saw the filth, the insects, and the thick mold on Rose's body, they were overcome with disgust. Some fell to their knees, vomiting everything they had eaten. Others shouted in anger, demanding justice. Rose tried to run, but the people grabbed her. "How could you do this to us?" they yelled. "You made us eat your filth. You tricked us." Tears streamed down Rose's face. She fell to the ground, shaking. "I only wanted to be rich. I only wanted to be free from suffering," she sobbed, but no one felt sorry for her. They dragged her through the streets, cursing her name. The final punishment. The people took Rose to the village elders, and after hearing her confession, they decided on her punishment. She was banished to the evil forest, a place where no one dared to go. It was said to be filled with restless spirits and wild beasts, a place of endless suffering. Rose was thrown into the heart of the forest, left alone to face her fate. Every day she cried and screamed for help, but no one came. She regretted everything, meeting the old woman, listening to her wicked advice, and choosing riches over honesty. If only I had been patient. If only I had worked hard the right way. If only I had never listened to that old woman, she wept. But it was too late. Alone and miserable, Rose spent the rest of her days in the evil forest, wishing for death to take her. But death did not come quickly. She suffered just as she had made others suffer. Moral lessons from Rose's story. 1. Greed leads to destruction. Rose was desperate to escape poverty, but she took the wrong path. Instead of working honestly, she followed evil advice, and in the end, she lost everything. 2. No secret stays hidden forever. No matter how carefully you try to hide the truth, it will always come out in the end. Rose thought no one would ever know her secret, but the truth found its way out. 3. Shortcuts to success always have a price. Rose wanted to be rich without effort, but in the end, she paid the highest price. Hard work and honesty are the only true paths to lasting success. 4. Evil will always be punished. Rose tricked people into eating her filth, and she was punished for it. No matter how long it takes, wrongdoing never goes unpunished. Thank you for following Rose's journey. Her story teaches us an important lesson. Never let greed blind you, and never take the wrong path, no matter how tempting it seems. True success comes from honesty, hard work, and patience. I hope you learned something valuable from this tale. Until next time, stay wise and make the right choices.